Hello everyone, this is Frank DeFreitas and welcome to HoloTalk, the Internet's laser and holography talk show, enjoyed in over 42 countries throughout the world. And now, here's this week's show.
Frank.
Hello, Howard, how are you?
I'm fine. It was my caller ID.
Oh, that's good. Glad to hear it's working. Mm-hmm. Got your email a little bit earlier on saying you were available today, so I thought I'd give you a call.
Excellent. Mm-hmm.
So why don't we start off with having you tell the listeners a little bit about the Polaris Research Group. Is this your company?
Yes, it is.
It's a very impressive website with the pictures of your lab there.
I'm glad you... It's a very nice thing of you to say, because when we put the website up, because we're not HTML people, we discovered that it depends on which viewer you bring it up in as to how good it looks.
Oh, yeah.
But I appreciate the compliment, certainly, and we're, for those people who've seen some discrepancies in the website, we're going to be fixing that. But, we've got a really very nice lab facility, and the short story on Polaris is that I spent about 15 years working for the Navy in underwater weapons systems and laser and optical applications, things like fiber optic sensors. But the big deal was optical non-destructive testing and holographic interferometry. Flash ahead after 15 years of doing all sorts of things that were deeply classified. And when they declassified my work in 1993, after about 18 months of negotiation, I bought the entire laboratory.
Wow.
And so we had this, huge state-of-the-art laboratory, and we have a very nice space in a commercial building where we've been for the last 13 years now. And we're one of the few labs actually offering holographic interferometry service here in this country. It's very big in Europe, and very well used. In fact, virtually every automotive company, aerospace manufacturer, and aircraft manufacturer uses it regularly. But it's still something of an odd application here in the U.S. I'm not sure precisely why that is. So I'm something of an evangelical about both holography in general and holographic interferometry specifically. So,
what are some of the current competing technologies with the holographic method for interferometry that's out on the market today?
Well, there aren't a lot, actually, because, of course, holography is full field. And with current technology that's out there, you can do extremely sub-wavelength measurements. So you've got something that's full field, real-time, and can also be set either synchronously or asynchronously to pulse along with the motion of an object. It's really just an extremely accurate measurement method, for looking at displacement, either in plane or out of plane. There are a number of different interferometric methods that use similar concepts, similar optical physics to develop a interference map. But the beauty of holography is that it shows you the displacement of the entire object and the topography of that motion. So the real point to it is that once you've stressed an object, however that stress has been applied, you can see what it's doing. There aren't a lot of other methods that do that. Now, there are certainly point measurement methods, even some optical ones like vibrometry and that kind of thing. There are certainly other ways to measure stress and strain, which usually require applying some kind of a strain gauge or something of that nature. And there are other methods of looking at either defects or surface motion that can include sonography, C-scanning, that kind of thing, and many other methods. But holography is unique in that it is entirely non-contact as far as the observation method goes. And the nicest advantage of it is that you see what is the truth rather than what is a model. And that's the important thing, because the holographic maps are what's really going on in the real world as a result of whatever the applied stress is.
I know Newport Research at one time had a catalog. It was actually It featured different techniques that could be done with their laser and holography system that they put out, and they had a very simple experiment for holographic interferometry in there where they used, I believe, a Coca-Cola can or something like that.
That's correct, with a rubber band around it.
That goes back many, many years.
I still have that catalog. I was one of their first customers in 1980.
Oh, that was two guys that started out in a kitchen or something, wasn't it?
Right. Dr. Milton Chang was eventually the president and CEO, and once the company was going, of course, Milton, who is very well known in the optical community, of course, he writes every month in Laser Focus World. Just a brilliant entrepreneur of stellar ability. And, of course, when he left Newport Research, here I'm talking about Dr. Chang, but he went on to found with another friend New Focus, which, of course, became very well known, and then successfully went on. And I know that he's also with a research and entrepreneurial incubation firm now. So Dr. Chang did tremendous things early on as a champion of holography, and we got to know each other quite well quite a long time ago. And as a result of that, when I was purchasing large amounts of equipment from Newport Research, and though not trying to promulgate one company as a supplier over the other, certainly at that time, Newport was the only game in town for the best in the world, and they had their holographic camera, which was a brilliant device developed by Honeywell. It's still an extremely useful device, though the company stopped supporting it at least a decade ago. I still use the camera every day in my lab. It's 25 years old. I have several of them. They use a photothermal plastic plate, which means you can make a hologram in under 45 seconds. Is it still possible to get those plates? I got an email not too long ago from someone looking for those plates. There's probably a lot of us out there looking for those plates.
Okay.
I recently found a surplus company that had a supply of those plates, and I bought them all.
Oh, okay.
And when they pop up, sometimes on eBay, sometimes other places, those of us who see it generally compete with each other right away to get them.
Yeah.
Because that camera is still the one that's most used in the world. There have been other devices out there, and one or two that were actually quite promising, but unfortunately they weren't able to be supplied in any real quality-based quantity in this country. So I still use that system every day, and when it does get to the point where those plates run out, fortunately I still have a decent supply, we're going to have to go to some other method. And, of course, now there are other holographic methods, including some that are photorefractive crystal-based, and those are showing very great promise. And there's some OEMs out there that are supplying equipment that are based on photorefractives and other optical techniques to do the very same thing.
Yeah. This was actually a research student at the University of Connecticut, so maybe if I get another request in the future, I can just send them over to you, and if the price is right, maybe you can part with one of them.
I think that it's certainly possible, but I wouldn't hold up any promise that it's kind of the price greater than rubies.
I see.
For those of us who use it every day, it's right now the only tool for that sort of thing, because in order to make holographic interferometry an essentially affordable thing, you have to be able to do it quickly, and that's one of the important aspects of it, and something that made it economical to do. Because back in the 70s when we were doing it, we were doing what holographers do in general: a film plate, or film or a plate rather. Of course, you set it up, make your exposure, develop, bleach, all that stuff, and then come back a little while later to find out if your hologram was good. You could spend a whole day just to find out you had a bad interferogram.
Yeah.
So having an instant system was a real godsend. So back in 1980, we did that, and we married that to, back then, very simple video system, and we're able to look at things real time. Now, of course, with digital imaging, we've got some pretty sophisticated stuff going on. And so we do an awful lot of work for large corporations, looking at everything from vibration of turbine rotors to tiny little components like disk drive components to larger structures of all sorts.
I'm working with a teacher to get their students involved with holographic interferometry, and we're looking at building balsa wood bridges and then doing holograms of them and placing fishing tackle weights on them to notice the stress and see which one of the bridge designs handles the stress best.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So,
terrific application.
I mean, as far as a career would go or something, how many companies out there are actively doing holographic interferometry now in the United States?
Only a very small handful, and the companies that are doing it are generally doing it internally. Some of the larger aircraft corporations, for instance, especially in their defense-related projects, they do have capabilities of doing this, Boeing, Northrop Grumman, that kind of thing. But even they go to outside consultants at times. But there aren't a lot of companies where you can just go and be a holographer. Polaris, and we're a very small company. We're sole proprietorship. I'm the one that's in the lab most of the time. There are really only 5 of us, and each of us has a different specialty. But I'm pretty much the holographer. The other guys are computer guys, engineers, physicists, and we all work together, and depending on the project. But for the most part, I'm the one that actually does the optically related work in the laboratory, and there are not a lot of other places in the U.S. doing that. I suspect there are a few that still actually offer the service, but I believe that it's a pretty hard thing to find in this country. There are equipment manufacturers, OEMs, in Europe that not only supply equipment but offer the services as well. It's very different over there. It's very, very, very strange.
What lasers do you have there?
Well, a number. I have one of the old Lexel Model 95 argon lasers, and it's set up for single frequency, single mode operation. It's a 5-watt laser, so we get a lot of power out of that. One of the old Spectra Physics SP125 50 milliwatt Heenies.
Classic.
Yeah, it is, and it's actually an incredibly good laser when it's set up with an Etalon and everything for what it is. A number of smaller solid-state red ones, which oddly enough nowadays, if set up correctly and thermally controlled correctly, can make adequate holograms with depending on the coherence length you need. But my primary laser right now is one of the coherent compass lasers.
Okay. Great unit.
Pardon?
That's a great unit as well.
Oh, it really is. At 532, it's dead stable. We're using a 100 milliwatt unit, and it's really a wonderful system. Just about the size of a package of cigarettes, plugs into the wall. If you heat sink it correctly, then you've got something that has a beautiful lifetime and runs stable forever and makes great holograms.
I just acquired a Lexel 88.
Oh.
The only difficulty is that there were 2 configurations of the power supply. One was your standard desktop type of power supply, for lack of a better term, and the other one was the medical-based power supply, where the laser head was actually contained within the cabinet.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm having a difficult time trying to figure out this medical setup, because the cabinet, the power supply cabinet that runs is about the size of a small filing cabinet. And I had to get a truck to pick it up because I couldn't even fit it in the car. So I've got to figure out how to get that all set up. But I think that Lexel 88's a nice laser, too.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I see you're in Cleveland, Ohio. We should let the listeners know that.
Yeah.
Do you ever open your doors to visitors?
Absolutely. We do, anytime. When we receive calls, one of the things that happens very regularly before anybody works with us is we'll generally have a meeting and give them a quick tour of the facilities. The laboratory itself is the optics lab, as you could see on the website. It's about a 500-square-foot facility, a very nice laboratory environment, very well suited to optics. And, of course, we're in a large industrial building, and it's actually owned by General Electric here in Cleveland. and it's a terrific facility. So we have the advantage of being able to, as part of our rent and overhead, use all of the conference facilities and even their cafeteria. So it's really pretty nice for us. So we've got a great facility when we bring people in to visit, and then we can spend some time standing in the dark looking at colored lights later on.
It sounds like one of the incubator units. Is that what it is that's provided
it's really
through
not.
General Electric?
No, it's really not. The plant we're in here is the plant where General Electric has its quartz melt facility, where they make the quartz for virtually all of their worldwide operations. So they have these huge kilns that are running, 24/7, 365, making boules of quartz roughly 3 feet thick and 6 feet across.
Wow.
And, for all the different applications. So, but this is where we do holography of all sorts, and, of course, also do our work with, distributing Ultimate for the rest of the world. So,
what brought that on to distribute Ultimate emulsions?
Yeah, this is actually, one of the most exciting things for us right now. As most holographers will probably know, and if they don't, they should know right now. Yves Jantet in France, over the last 20 years, has been one of the most brilliant holographers anywhere in the world. His results have been nothing short of miraculous. And I've always been incredibly impressed with the things he produced. And he was supplying a very innovative set of emulsions that he developed in his own laboratories over the last 20 years. Those emulsions were available only in Europe. They were not available here in the U.S. for a myriad of reasons, including the fact that when they were shipped via standard shipping methods like container shipping, the breakage was horrendous on the plates. So it was very uneconomical. Of course, the reason for doing that is when they transshipped by air, virtually everything was X-rayed regardless of what the packaging would say. So it was kind of not a good thing to have photographic materials being X-rayed.
Yeah.
In any case, make a long story very short, when international manufacturing was developed in Canada, which is now where one of the major manufacturing facilities for Ultimate Emulsions was moved to North America, the manufacturer and Mr. Jantet went looking for a distributor here in the United States. And our reputation was such that they spoke with us, and we were very pleased and very excited to be able to become the U.S. distributor for these emulsions and work with them. So what we do, of course, is whether it's on our website or direct communication, we will take orders. We will have the emulsions custom manufactured. From date of order to date of delivery is usually no more than 4 weeks. Every now and then we do have something in stock as well, but the nature of the emulsion is that our customers can specify exactly what they want, including pre-swells and wavelength shifts and things like that. And the emulsion itself is spectacular. It is without a doubt the finest holographic emulsion in the world. It is the highest resolution, the highest sensitivity, and if one is to take a look at some of the corroborative data on the website, where it's just a simple comparison between the normal operating specs, and it's not a negative comment on other emulsions out there, because many of them have worked just fine over the years, but it's like anything. If you have a hand-built, hand-tuned sports car that is compared to, a general pickup truck, there's going to be a performance difference. And we are incredibly pleased to be able to offer this to holographers at a very reasonable price. And make no bones about it, it costs a little more. But in terms of consistency and exactly what to do, and coupled with the fact that Yves Jantet also developed a very unique set of chemistries for the plates. It's a two-part developing system with a developer and a bleach. Very different than anything that has been used before. And my own experience with this over the years, and of course once I started working with it regularly, there's just nothing like it in the world. The results are spectacular. And when we're talking about looking at holograms that are virtually without halation, without fog, without any fuzz or noise, you really can make holograms, even in a student environment, that are indistinguishable from the real object.
So I take it the formulations of the developer is not a lot of toxicity to it.
That's correct. They are extremely low toxicity. They are vastly different than commercial developers, bleaches, and fixers. And in fact, whereas in a normal photographic process, that's exactly what you have as a developer, and then a wash, and then a bleach, and then a wash, and then a fixer. This is only a two-part system, and it only takes a few minutes, and it's extremely well defined, and the plates themselves have a remarkable sensitivity and resolution to them. So yeah, it's a very low toxicity thing, and in fact, when we did all of the necessary paperwork for the registration and verification of the chemistry with our friends, the U.S. government and OSHA and all of that, we've got a very nice set of ratings which allow us to ship this stuff. So,
which one of the emulsions do you have in stock the most?
Well,
if someone were to go to your webpage and order today, are there specific emulsions within this range that you have in stock that you can ship right away?
Yeah, generally the no wavelength ship reds and greens, and it depends on the size of the plate. Usually the 4x5s are what most people buy, and they're the easiest and quickest to acquire. And in fact, we even offer what we call test kits, where we supply 5 4x5 plates in the wavelength of your choice, plus the necessary developer and bleach, and a very nice little kit for, I think it's $129.
Yeah, I'm actually going to order one of those from you.
Oh, terrific. Yeah, order right on the website. We do have secure shopping cart, and one can make a credit card order right there, and, secure socket layering and all of that, so it's extremely high. And or you can just give me a call, and we can work that out. And if you'd like to do that, I recommend it anyway for all our customers. And this is the plug for all of you out there who are making holograms using regular photographic media, including many of the currently available emulsions. Do give this a try. It will be worth your time. It will be worth your money. And you will find that it's something that gives you results like you have never seen before. So there's the shameless plug for the material, because it really is remarkable. And the reason that Polaris is distributing it, and that we are not only standing behind it but recommending it, is that I've been an active holographer for 30 years, and... You don't even sound 30 years old. I appreciate that. I made my first hologram in 1968 on the floor of a bedroom.
Oh, come on. Really?
I was in high school.
Yeah.
Yes,
I saw my first hologram in 68, but I was in junior high. So we're probably pretty close in age.
I'm 55.
50 here.
Yeah. So, of the same generation.
Yeah. I noticed on your webpage that on the ordering page, you do have the 8 nanometer. They're listed, but I don't see the 15 nanometer
We've
listed.
We've discontinued the 15.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it was really very simple. 8 nanometer emulsion, of course, was higher resolution, almost the same sensitivity within a very close percentage. And there was no reason to offer something that was virtually the same sensitivity within 20% and half the resolution.
Okay.
So we just went to manufacturing the 8 nanometer for all wavelengths, and we are working on even finer grain right now. And the results are very promising. But right now, an 8 nanometer emulsion is certainly the finest grain by far in the industry. And with the sensitivities that we are demonstrating, it's again utterly remarkable results. From my point of view, I can't say enough that the development process that Eve went through to put these emulsions together, from my point of view as a holographer, rather than just a supplier of this material, we're nothing short of genius. Mm-hmm. I've never seen anything like this anywhere.
Well, I've seen pictures and photos of his color work which is just astounding.
Yeah,
and I would love to see one in person.
The photographs, even on the website, just cannot possibly do it justice. Seeing these holograms in person, whether they're the holograms of butterflies or the pharaoh or any of the other things that we've done, including the work we've done in our own labs, both in Canada and here in Cleveland. Making a hologram is so simple, and in fact, we work with people, especially students, who buy it because it's so easy to make a Dennis Shook hologram, and it's the quickest way to get really good holographic results. To make somebody see exactly how holography works, and then when you set up a regular off-axis system and do all of the necessary beam balancing and adjusting and all of that, you can get some incredible results as well. But the work that we've done in our own laboratories are really, really astonishing, and we're just incredibly happy about having this material to supply, and hope, of course, that people everywhere will start using it, because it's only this year that it's become available in the United States. We are supplying it to a number of regular clients, both industrial and private, at this point, and we, as they say, welcome inquiries. We'd love to work with more. We can make the material and supply it in large quantities, and of course we can also make it in very large plates for the display holography company, and in fact we are doing that very successfully, supplying our largest plates to a couple of the well-known display holography companies out there.
Well, I'll certainly have a link to your website on the HoloTalk page, along with a contact email address where people can contact you.
Excellent.
And since we're running up on 30 minutes, do you happen to have anything you'd like to add that we haven't spoken about yet?
Well, I think that the best thing to say is that holography itself has become such a curiosity over the years and remains such a curiosity over the years. There are a huge number of uses that are ubiquitous in our everyday life, as the laser has become. So I would like to say that Polaris here in Cleveland is very happy to work with anybody from the student level to the professional level. We're rather extremely experienced over the last 30 years or so, and always welcome new challenges, and we very much want to continue being evangelical about both the technical and descriptive uses of holography and the display uses of holography. We're particularly interested in ensuring that the holographers have the best and most consistent emulsions out there, and that's what we're supplying.
That's great. I'll have to come visit you. I get out to Columbus, Ohio every spring.
Well, we're 2 hours north.
Yeah, so I'll have to, this spring when I head out to Columbus, I head to that, I don't know if you're aware of it or not, that Arnold Classic.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I head to the Arnold Classic every year, and maybe I can take a drive up and spend an extra day and just drive up and visit Polaris.
Oh, I'd love it. That would be absolutely terrific.
We could do another show live from the floor.
Oh, that would be excellent.
Yeah.
And I do have to say also that, because holography is what it is, that everything you've been doing over the years with HoloTalk and instructions and all of the things you've supplied over the years has been such a major boon to both the technology of holography and the hobby of holography and the technical development of people who decide to go into holography. And I think that's terrific because even though I say I'm an evangelical about it, you are too in your own way, and that's a really wonderful thing. So I'm really happy to have the opportunity to talk on the show here since I've been listening to it for years.
Well, thank you. That's very kind to say. What I do is I just bring the experts on the show. I'm not an expert myself, so...
Well, expert enough to make it accessible, and that's really important.
All right, well, Howard, we should probably close up so that we can keep our file size small.
Very good, Frank.
And it was very good talking to you. And if you don't hear from me today, you'll probably hear from me tomorrow, because I have to do a little running around after I get this finished, and I'll probably sit down with a cup of tea tonight and do some editing and get the announcement out.
Okay, terrific.
All right.
That is great.
Thank you very much for being on the show and taking the time.
I really appreciate your taking the time to talk with me. It's a pleasure.
Take care, Howard.
Bye-bye.
Bye.